Hello, welcome to Design Time. I'm Lacey, and welcome to our first of many, we hope to come, extended versions. And the reason we're calling it extended versions is because today we'll be looking and demonstrating at some things that take a little bit longer than we normally have for our design time. So we're looking at maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes. I thought that we would demonstrate on how to incorporate aluminum wire into your flowers to wear, as well as those centerpieces. I don't know where we would be today without aluminum wire, and thank goodness Smithers Oasis Company provides beautiful wires that we can use to accessorize almost anything we do with fresh flowers. In addition to the wires, one of the other products that we'll be using from Smithers Oasis today is glue dots or glue dashes and glue strips, as well as the cold glue or the Oasis glue as it's branded, because those items are most likely the items you're probably using in your own shop or studio. It's what we recommend simply because it is a chemical-based cold glue that does not expand or contract due to heat or cold. And you want to make sure that you are using that as opposed to using pan glue or something else, because pan glue is just melted plastic that will expand and contract with heating and cooling. So it might not hold quite as good as using the chemical glue. One word of caution though, with the cold glue or chemical glue, you have to be cautious with putting it on foliage because it can burn some of the foliage. The other thing that I want to make sure that you remember when it comes to utilizing fresh floral product, when you use it to glue into a corsage or a piece that you might be doing, make sure that you're saturating the end that you have clipped off of the plant, because that will help seal that up so that it holds the moisture in the bloom much longer. That will allow you to do personal flowers or flowers to wear earlier than you normally would, because you have an extended life with it holding in the moisture. We can start the personal flowers or flowers to wear on Wednesday or Thursday, even before a wedding or an event that might be taking place on Saturday. So just remember, when you snip it off from the plant, you want to make sure that a little glue goes on the end of that. And what I do is I put it on the product where I'm trying to seal up. And then wherever I might want to attach it, I touch it, I pull it apart, I count to 3 to give the cold glue or the chemical glue and time to aerate so that it will securely take place when you put it back where it's going to go. One of the things that I love about using wire work is that you can create some beautiful accessories and really update your flowers to wear using some more economical flowers, because they will hold up much longer without a source of water, and dress it up by adding in some of that reflective metal, the aluminum colors. You can bring in another color to play, but it also updates the look of those flowers. In order to enhance this flower to wear, and this actually is a boutonniere that my friend Andrew Stinson helped create for Arkansas State, which we were at this past weekend. But we've added a glue strip to the back of it, just a little piece of that 1-inch aluminum wire that gives us a great base to start adhering things to. And I use a combination of the cold glue and glue dashes or glue strips, because that will allow you to use product that you are concerned about burning from the chemical. So using a combination of them gets them securely attached. It gives you a way to attach it to the lapel of the jacket or the dress that you might be attaching it to. And then with the cold glue, you can secure the additional pieces that you're going to be putting in there. In order to create the leaves, we're going to start with a piece that's about 12 inches or so long. And you'll decide what works best for you, but just a straight piece of aluminum wire. I like to fold it in half in each direction to create those points. And then to create the little tip of the leaf that we're doing here, you're going to use the Smithers Oasis jewelry tool to just crimp it right on the bottom, pinch it together, and you can see how it creates a little pin-like pointed section and it gives you a place to securely hold it as well as to start. And you can use this by using the tool, or a lot of times I will go back and just put pressure on the pressure point where I might want to bend it. I'm bending it in both directions because now I'm going to start to curve it like the edge of a leaf. Lay it flat down on the table because this is much easier to start any kind of curls that you're doing by having a flat, smooth surface to start to do any kind of spiral or twist that you might want to create. It keeps it securely set. So we've now created the first edge of the leaf. By holding it where that point is and then curling it back to the center, finish off however deep or small you might want that leaf to be, where you want it to end up in there. It's really totally up to you. But once you've got the leaf created to where you like it on the one side, then we're going to spin it around so that we can start to develop the other leaf. Now we had already pinched it, so I'm holding it at that secure point, starting to turn it around. I'm going to use the jewelry tool to create that spiral edge on the other side, just spinning it around, making sure that I'm giving a similar look as what I did to the other side so that it will make sense. Stop about the same size that I did there. Again, we hold it where we've bent it, and then we can start to curve the leaf in whatever direction or shape that we might want. Now this one I've just made a double. It's pulled right around, and I could easily tuck that in to a boutonniere or corsage, a bouquet. You can create some depth by pulling the wires up a little bit. You really can do a lot of different things with the piece that you just created. But having some of those leaves to add into a beautiful piece that might include this orange alstroemeria, something that you want to add that copper accent to, or as we did here, add it in with one of the roses that we're going to create next. Now, moving on, we're going to go to the rose that is created with the flat wire. Again, it's the Smithers Oasis 1/4 inch flat wire is where we're going to start. I like to start the edge by crimping it and doing that spiral. Just like we did on the aluminum wire, we've created that circle right in the center there that's easy to see, so it gives us a place to start. Holding with your jewelry tool, because you don't want that to start to slip apart and you want a uniform look, I'm going to start to twist the wire. And you want to make sure that you do a nice even twist as you start to wrap that around. Now you've got one of two options. You can continue to twist this way until you get it all done and then create the flower. What I suggest you do is once you get it to a comfortable position, then start to turn it while you twist. Now why would I do that? Because now I have some place to hold with my hand and I can spiral as I'm creating those twists. I find that it goes a lot quicker. It allows you to do a number of twists and then just continue to spiral those right around until you've got the size that you want that flower to be. Now if we look at the flower as it is right now, this one I might be dropping into a centerpiece, we can see how flat it is. You really want to give that a little bit of depth and just shape it so that you can end up with what resembles a flower that's made out of the metal. It would be easy to slip it right into something, or you can see we've used it here to accent this particular boutonniere by gluing it right in with the fresh floral product that we had put on the boutonniere. One of the things that's great about this particular style of flower is that if you wanted to just build off the flower, all I've done is take the little piece on the bottom to create myself what I would call a pocket clip. A way for me to attach it to a lapel, to a dress, maybe to the edge of a shoe, if that's what the case would be. Be a great way to add a little accent color in there. But we've created a natural holder out of the aluminum that would allow you to attach it to almost anything. Just another little way that you can utilize the flower that's created with the flat wire. Now for this centerpiece, to create that beautiful additional accessory or accent, everyone loves insects these days. If you want something to move quickly out of your showroom or your studio, I say add a bug, a bee, or a bird, and it's gonna fly away. That's the same thing with the dragonfly. Dragonfly is an icon that we're seeing in the marketplace right now. Everyone is painting them on containers, adding them to finished designs. Adding that little touch adds so much to the centerpiece, because look at the difference without it, and then simply by adding in this handmade piece, and remember that's what you're doing, you're creating a handmade piece into that design, bumps it up to that next level, gives it a little extra touch that can only be found in your shop or studio. So look at adding these in when you want to flying out the door or flying over to a party. You can start with about 3 to 5 feet. I would say probably start with 3 feet. You may even take that down to 2 feet, depending on what you want the finished size of that dragonfly to be. Again, Andrew Stinson helped me with creating these dragonflies. It's sort of one of his trademarks that he came up with and he utilizes. But starting with that wire, you're going to create first the wings of the dragonfly. Give yourself about 6 or 8 inches, that would be a base to start. I'm going to bend it at a 45-degree angle, and I'm going to create the first portion of the wings. I've brought it over to the other side and sort of measuring, I know about where I want to make the size excuse me, of that second wing. So as I continue and add in a little smaller one, because you do want to make sure that you've got 2 different sizes. Same thing for the smaller one. You want to make sure that you extend it about the same as the one on the opposite side. So now you can sort of see the body starting to take place. Once you've got it to that point, I'm going to come all the way out to the end here. I just straightened out the wire, and I'm going to curl it. I happen to be using a Sharpie pen because I want the body to be a little larger and to be obviously textural, add a little depth to the dragonfly. So to create that look, we're going to start by wrapping it right around the Sharpie, because that gives you something that is firm to press against so that you can keep this very neat. Now you want to make sure anytime you're doing wire work, keep it as neat and clean, as uniform in size as you possibly can, because when you use things like this for certification and competition, that's one of the things that we're going to look for. Is it clean work? Does it look like it was intentional and that it wasn't something that was reused? So you want to get comfortable with creating these spirals on any kind of object. I often will use a paintbrush because it's tapered to one end and it's very easy to move that off. And however long you want the body to be, your coil needs to be about half that width, because we're going to pull it out a little bit, and you want to save yourself enough to be able to securely attach the body to the wings. So I've curled it around, I've created my spiral, pull the pin right out, I go back to supporting the wings, and I'm going to wrap right around so that I have something in the center that will allow me to shape the wings and holds everything in place.
Now, Jackie, we have a question from Scott Johnson. He wants to know, how much would you charge for that?
As much as I possibly can. That's the response you're always going to get from me when it comes to how much would you charge. I can't tell you how much you have to charge in your shop, because I don't know what your expenses are. It's going to depend on what your markup is. How much do you generally mark product up? If you're keystoning, which is doubling, then I'm afraid that you might not be charging enough to cover the cost of your shipping, and then also for your artistic ability. Now that we've got it added in there, what I would suggest when it comes to pricing, do 1, do 2, do 3, maybe do 5 until you've got the action down. How long does it take you? How much product did you use? Add all of those up. Do your standard markup, and then I would add a little bit of an artistic ability fee in there, because your clients should be paying for your schooling, your education, your ability to create things for them that they can't get from somewhere else. So I would suggest probably something like this is going to be in the neighborhood of maybe $5 to $6, $7, $8, whatever you end up charging, that gets added to the design. Could be as little as $2 or $3. It's only about 3 yards of wire and your time, but you want to charge appropriately for your time. Getting back to finishing the product. Once we've got the coil in there, I'm going to finish off the end, because you don't want to leave the end of the dragonfly just open and exposed. So again, I'm going to take my jewelry tools, curl around so that I can create a little smaller section there, and then I can extend that body however long I want to. Start to add in a little bit of shape to the wings, pull them up if you would rather, push these down towards the front, and you've created your dragonfly that can easily be added in as the partner to the one that you've got in there already. Great little centerpiece add-on. And one last demonstration, because wire work scares a lot of people, but I want you to understand how little, these are some scrap pieces that I had left over, that I've simply created some swirls and curls, whatever you want to call them, that can easily be tucked in to add in a little bit of an updated addition, bringing in that green color to surround the beautiful mix of color we have in there with all of the floral product. And it gives a little bit of sparkle, a little different edge that you might not have somewhere else. It can be done in any size, and it simply is twist and turn, twist and turn. You're creating something that can very easily look like a vine and be added into any centerpiece. Finished process, a clean, modern design, whatever the case may be. Remember, wire is an accessory. It needs to be done appropriately and according to the size that you're adding it into. Don't overdo it. Remember, you can always add more in, but start with a little accent. That way it only adds a little bit to the cost, and then add more if you need to. Charge appropriately, and make sure you're charging for your artistic level that you're bringing to your client. Hope you join us again next time for Design Time, and hope this helps you.
Thank you for tuning in to Floriology's YouTube channel. If you like the video you just watched, please give it a thumbs up.
And for more information on Floriology, log on to www.floriologyinstitute.com. And if you want to subscribe, click the button.